Throughout the summer, from time to time, we've been referring you back to our pepper patch and the mulch demonstration trial that we put down earlier this season. Well, the peppers are doing very well. They're setting fruit. We still have 6 different trials established here for demonstration purposes: the straw, bare soil, landscape fabric, the black plastic, agri-paper, and last of all, newspapers covered with remay to hold them in place. They're all growing just fine, but we can see some differences here, right, Ray?
Right, I think we can, Sue, and I think we could probably attribute some of these differences to the mulches, because certainly, depending on how we treat the soil and the plant, these plants are going to respond differently. And I think now that we're getting into the later part of summer, we can almost be assured that we're going to have some really hot weather. And we need to come in and continue mulching on these peppers in order to conserve moisture and also to hold down some weed growth. And on these, of course, that have been under bare or on bare soil without any mulch, we will go ahead and be sure, first of all, that the ground is well supplied with moisture, and that all the weeds and small grass seedlings have been removed, and then simply mulch these with a loose, I like a loose straw or hay mulch at this time of the year, because it's cool and it's light. It allows aeration through, but yet it shades the soil enough to where it keeps the soil cool and will prevent any type of weed growth from occurring, particularly the annual grasses and the crab grasses.
Something you might be noticing on your peppers is the fruits that are forming right now maybe aren't sizing up very well for you. They may be small and misshapen, knotty in appearance, and that's because of the high temperatures. But you'll find if you can get your peppers through the heat of summer, keep them side dressed, keep them watered, they'll give you a tremendous flush of fruit for the fall that will be big and just beautiful.
I think another important thing on mulch is also, particularly if you've used a black plastic mulch or the black landscape fabric mulch. You know, it was good early in the season because it warmed the soil and it prevented weed growth and it did conserve moisture. But now that we're having some very hot days and the sun's bright, this is going to absorb the heat and really heat that soil up. So even though you have your garden plants, whether they be peppers or tomatoes or whatever, mulched with a plastic mulch, you should go ahead now and cover that over with a light organic mulch. This is particularly important if your foliage on your plants have not grown enough to shade that mulch. If you're getting some shade from the foliage, that's going to help cool it, but I would sure suggest that you, as quickly as possible, if you haven't already, somehow cover those plastic mulches with something such as grass clippings or good clean straw. In fact, we're using a good clean straw or hay mulch here. I think it would be a good idea too for you to get some consideration on where you obtain your mulches, and be sure that you're not going to be incorporating weed seed or wheat or oats or something that's going to be coming up and causing a problem for you. I like to get mulch and let it set out for a while, let it weather a little bit. Maybe some of those weed seeds inside will go ahead and germinate, or if you have wheat or oat straw, allow those to go ahead and germinate, and then you're getting rid of a lot of your problems instead of adding to your garden problems.
That's especially true on wheat straw. You'll find if you wet it down, I know some gardeners who do this, they'll buy it and set it aside and wet it down purposely to let some of those wheat seeds sprout.
Sue, I've noticed that we're getting still an awful lot of small fruit setting on our peppers, and they're continuing to flower. One of the things that we need to keep in mind here in Oklahoma is that sometimes in fact, most of the time, our spring temperatures and spring weather conditions are so variable that you may or may not get a good early set of peppers. But if you can keep these pepper plants growing well through the summer, keep them watered well, pest-free as much as possible, and give them an occasional light application of fertilizer to keep the plants growing, you can almost be assured you're going to have a good fall crop, because the weather does become much more mild and agreeable for pepper set and good uniform formation of the pod in the fall.
That's true. Incidentally, the variety that we're growing in our little mulch trial is Ma Bell, which is a good-sized green bell sweet pepper. On my right, though, we have a mix of varieties that are just now setting fruit, and we'll take another look back at those in a few weeks as they begin to form. One of them has already formed some nice peppers. It's called Violette, and it's a purple pepper. Some people call them chocolate peppers. But the other varieties are coming along, and we'll come back and take a look at those in a few weeks as they start to color up.
You know, a lot of people may look at this pepper planting we've got here and think, what on earth can you do with that many peppers? Well, obviously we've got more peppers we have in an average sized garden because we are trying to do some different things. But if you have enough room in your garden to grow peppers, they do make a good fall crop. They're really a good crop to use if you want to visit your local farmer's market and try to get rid of a little bit of the peppers. Yes. They freeze well, they dry well, and actually they keep for quite a long period of time in the crisper part of the refrigerator. So, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is even though you have a lot of peppers in your garden, you can usually find a way to use them or to preserve them or to somehow process them so that you can use them later on.
And they're one crop that you almost never have to spray if they're well cared for.
Right.